What's up, guys? This is day 156. This is actually from, I think, Monday, but I kept being lazy on editing, so I'll still post it because I filmed the footage. Mostly just going through different rehab exercises, but trying out some other stuff, trying out some weird stuff, trying out some stuff that I think Mindagas does, kind of. So, but it's a work in progress. I mean, I feel like I figured out a large part of what he does, but obviously not fully yet. And yeah, I guess I actually wanted to talk about something that I think about a lot and maybe relates to sort of the takeaways I've gotten from the small bit of advice um, that I'm getting from the coaching recently. And it's the idea that maybe everyone is kind of a fraud in a big way. And I've always thought this, and I think mostly because I feel that way about myself, and I sort of assume that maybe other people are doing the same. Well, I mean, I guess I should say I'm pretty sure that other people are like that too. And it's not really a bad thing, it's not really a novel idea. I think we all know that we kind of pretend to know what we're doing, and we put on an act to some degree, all of us. But I do think it's interesting why I feel that way. Um, and if it's, do I feel inadequate and I feel that others are inadequate compared to something that compared to an expectation that I've just created myself? Or is there some objective standard somehow that maybe only exceptional people that are just extremely authentic are setting? Um, I don't know. I mean, I think in all areas of life, um, but a good example of that would be like how Kobe was really worshipped, uh, not just as a basketball player, but as someone that is really authentic to his word and to his passion. And basically, I think everyone saw him as someone that was maybe not a fraud, and I think a lot of people find that really fascinating, and that's where that whole Mamba mentality thing came from. And but yeah, I mean, I feel that just as a person, I claim to like things that I don't really like, and claim to be in love with things that I'm not really in love with. Claim to be good at things I'm not really good at, so on. Claim to be doing things I don't really do, and yeah, and I think that when I'm around other people, I always wonder how much are they sort of doing the same. Um, and I do think that most of us probably are not entirely truthful always, and it's not like I said. I don't think it's really like a um, moral failing, and I don't think it's anything really necessarily bad even. I think maybe it's just part of being human, and it's just part of how the circumstances are. Um, yeah, I don't know. I wonder if like it's something that has gotten worse over time in terms of how everyone talks about the modern age and the constant uh, sort of flow of like social media and like the ability to see other people what they're doing and the ability to like curate your image and comparing yourself to others, so on. So I wonder if people back in the day were maybe more authentic. um, so I don't know, it's an interesting thing to think about, but I just bring this up because I basically what the coaching has shown me is that um, I would say there's two takeaways. One is maybe he is onto something that's a bit different um, than a lot of other people's trainings, a lot of other people's like, and it goes against a lot of like the beliefs about strength training and arm wrestling strength training. And maybe his method is more efficient and more genius, and I think that's definitely possible, and that might be a part of it, but I won't know for sure. I mean, I can't know for sure because I haven't really tried it to see any results, and even if I did, I would never know if really it was better than some other method or not. But another part is, I wonder if he really is just, if he's really about that, and maybe he really is just not a fraud, and that's what separates him. Um, yeah, I mean, genetics is a factor as well. People talk about Sasha all the time, but and for sure, like genetics matters. I'm not saying it doesn't, but I think Sasho came from another sport, and I assume that he also trained a lot for that. I think like wrestling or something like that, and maybe he was about that, and he was really doing walking the walk every day, and that's what just made the base for him to become exceptional immediately. But really, what I'm trying to get at is, I think this whole idea of um, being inauthentic uh, about yourself maybe is really touched on a lot, and is kind of glaring, I guess, in this like fitness space, because I think that there's always like this standard that people set, and if people feel a need to sort of say like, I'm the hardest worker and things like that. I wake up at 4 a.m. I work out every day, whatever, stuff like that. And I think probably a lot of that is nonsense and bullshit, and they're not doing any of that stuff. And I say this because I mean, it's funny because like my whole thing is that I feel like in a sense it's very authentic because I share more of myself doing this than other people, just by virtue of having a channel and like taking videos of it. But in other sense, it's like the epitome of fucking being fake, because it's I title it every day, and it's like, I'm at like day 150 at like day one, like day when it should be like day 1000, right? But and I don't really feel bad about it, because like I've never gotten anything for this. I don't feel bad about it at all. I would feel bad about it if I felt like disappointed in myself, but not really. So, um, but yeah, like, but I know how much effort I put in and how much I've worked, and I don't even want to downplay it because I'm okay with it. I did a pretty good job, all right job, but for sure, it was nowhere near what I could have done or maybe should have done. Um, I think about arm wrestling all the time. It's on my mind, but you know, there are many, many, many miles of this journey that I have not walked, I will say. Um, so when I see people that have maybe, started before me, and people that maybe have started around the same time as me, and not all of them, but I'm sure some of them, claim to really bleed this, really love this, and, they're a beast in the gym, but somehow they don't seem to progress, or at least it feels that way to me, relative to me. And then I start to wonder all over again, like, you know, is everyone else a fraud? And because I feel I have been in a way. And yeah, I mean, essentially, this is what I was thinking about: is that maybe this guy Mindaugas is just really about it, and he's really doing this shit every day. When a lot of people will say, "Well, I can do that too," except no one ever really ever does it. So that's sort of the point I'm trying to make, and it's difficult, but it also is. I don't know. It's very motivating, and I feel like it's it's actually a very hopeful thought, because what I'm starting to sort of believe in more and more is that all it takes is for you to never regress and never get injured, and just get better and better, and just improve week after week after week after week after week after week. While other people, they might slack, they might get injured, and you know, it's like having the self discipline to really make sure you never get injured. I think maybe that's really just it. And of course, I'm not saying that you can be lazy and you're stupid if you're trying to say that I'm thinking that you can just sit on the couch. That's obviously not it, um, but yeah, like I don't know why, but after provincials and I had my whole little tantrum, I thought about this tortoise and the hare story, and it's really corny to sort of say that or like imply that I'm the turtle, but I feel like it actually applies maybe really so well to this arm wrestling space, um, in many ways. And I don't know if that's because just like it's like that in all aspects of life, or if it's arm wrestling is a. I actually do think arm wrestling will fits that a bit more in terms of how you want to be progressing. But yeah, I mean, I just wanted to sort of share that, and just always remember to be the tortoise.